Our story today is again from the first book of the Bible. Do you remember what the name of the first book of the Bible is?
Genesis.
Right. Now, do you remember last week's story? Who is it about?
Abraham.
That's right. God had made an amazing promise to him. Phoebe, can you remember a promise God made to Abraham?
A great nation would come from him.
That's right. And Chloe, what else did God promise Abraham?
God promised to give the land to his descendants.
That's right. And Sarah and Abraham had a baby boy. What did they call their baby boy?
Isaac.
Isaac. Now, Isaac grew up and he married Rebecca. Now, what do you have descendants?
Children.
Well, Isaac and Rebecca had no children for a long time. So Isaac prayed about it and God answered his prayer. And soon their baby would be born. And while they waited, God told Rebecca that she was going to have two babies. What do you call it when you have two babies? Twins. Well, when these twins were born, they couldn't have been more different. The first one was a very red boy, so they named him Esau. And the second boy born was holding on to the first one's heel as if he was trying to catch him, so they named him Jacob. And as the boys grew up, Esau loved to be outdoors. He became a skillful hunter, and since his dad, Isaac, liked to eat the meat Esau brought home, he loved Esau best. Now Jacob, he liked to be at home and cook good food. Rebecca loved Jacob the helper best. Isaac and Rebecca were glad that God gave them two sons to love. And so the boys grew and grew. Now Esau, remember, he was born first, and he had the birthright. That was a very important thing. It meant he would be the leader of the family when his father died. And he would also inherit a lot more from his father. Now, Jacob, remember, he was born second, so he was considered the younger son. That meant he would not be the family leader, and he would get less from his father. Well, Jacob decided he wanted to be the leader and have more instead of his brother. So one day, Esau had been out hunting and he came home very hungry. And he smelled Jacob's good stew. He said, "Give me some stew." And Jacob said, "If you want my stew, then trade me your birthright for it." You see, Jacob really wanted to be the family leader. So he used his terrific stew and his brother's extreme hunger to his advantage. He would only give Esau stew in exchange for his birthright. Well, don't you know, Esau didn't care as much about the birthright as he did his hunger. He said, "I'll die if I don't eat, and my birthright won't matter then. So fine, you can have my birthright. Now give me that stew." So Esau traded his important birthright just for a bowl of stew. It was not a fair trade. Well, years and years passed, and Isaac grew very old. He was also blind and thought he would die soon. So he wanted to speak his official words of blessing over his older son, Esau. So Isaac called Esau and asked him to go hunting and then cook his favorite meal. And after Isaac ate the meal, he then planned to give Esau his very special blessing. So Esau set off to hunt for the meat his father wanted. But you know, Rebecca had been listening, and she decided she wanted Jacob to get the blessing instead. So Rebecca and Jacob made a plan to trick Isaac. Rebecca dressed Jacob in hairy skins and in Esau's clothes so that he would smell and feel like Esau. So dressed like Esau, Jacob took the food to Isaac. And Isaac asked, "Are you really Esau? You feel and smell like Esau, but you sound like Jacob." And you know what Jacob did? He lied. He lied to his father and said, No, I am Esau." So Isaac gave Jacob the blessing meant for Esau. And as soon as Jacob had left, Esau came back from the hunt He cooked the food he had caught and brought it to Isaac to eat, only to discover that Jacob had already stolen the blessing. Esau was so angry, he was ready to kill Jacob. And Jacob was very afraid, so he ran far, far from home. And Jacob stayed far, far away from Esau for 20 years. And during this time, Jacob got married and had lots of kids. He had also become rich. He had flocks and flocks of animals of all kinds. God had blessed him even while he was hiding from his brother. But one day, God said, "Jacob, it's time for you to go home." So Jacob's family, all his animals and helpers, and they all began walking home. And Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to tell Esau that he was coming home and that he hoped Esau would welcome him. And as they got close to home, some of Jacob's helpers came and ran to him to say, "Esau and 400 men are coming this way." And Jacob was afraid. He prayed and asked God to keep them safe. He also decided to send Esau gifts, hoping that might make Esau less angry. And Jacob sent big herds of goats and sheep, camels, cattle, and donkeys ahead to show Esau that he wanted to make up for the wrong things he had done. And Jacob walked far ahead of his family, bowing down low as he went to show he was sorry. And when he could see his brother Jacob bowed 7 times, he wondered, will Esau kill me or will he forgive me? And so Jacob looked up and he saw Esau running to meet him. And Esau hugged him and kissed him. And then Jacob wasn't afraid anymore. So after 30 years, these brothers, the cheater and the one who wanted to kill the cheater, were reunited. Esau was willing to forgive Jacob, and they were brothers once more. You know, if a person you know does something mean to his brother, we might expect the brother to be mean in return. Some people think it's okay to get even, but that's not what the Bible says. Let's read our Bible words.
Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good.
Romans 12:21. Now, what do you think that verse means, Chloe?
That good overcomes evil.
That's right. That verse lets us know that our good actions are stronger than wrong or evil actions. And it took a lot for Esau to forgive Jacob. But because God is so kind and forgives us so many things, he wants us to forgive others too and then do our best to make things right.
Phoebe is going to sing, "Joyful, joyful, we adore thee." Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, hail thee as the sun above. Thou the Father, Christ our brother, all who live in love are thine. Teach us how to love each other, lift us to the joy divine. Mortals join the mighty chorus, which the morning stars began. Father, love is reigning o'er us, brother binds to man, ever singing, march we onward, victors in the midst of strife. Joyful music lifts us onward in the triumph sun of life. Have a joyful day.